Two kids, ages 4 and 6, made their first $100 and asked AI to help run the stand. This is Models and Agents for Beginners, episode 137. Picture a wooden stall painted by small hands, a jar filling up with coins, and a helium balloon that suddenly taught a money lesson most adults still skip. Skylu and Poppy, ages 4 and 6, ran a lemonade stand. They sold out the drinks, moved a stack of hand-painted flower cards, and made their first $100. Their dad wrote that the money was nice, but the real prize was inventing the stand, gathering ideas, and figuring out how to actually run it. They learned customer service, where money comes from, and that you can build something of your own instead of only taking a job. They also learned the hard way because one stretch meant 3 hours of work and only 4 sales. A helium balloon that cost €6 suddenly looked different when they realized it equaled about 4 cups of lemonade. That balloon became a translator for what money is actually worth, and a lot of grown-ups still have not learned that lesson. Here is the twist that made me sit up. The family used a free AI tool called Perplexity to help run the stand. AI just means software that can understand regular language and help you write, plan, or build things. Perplexity is an AI you talk to in plain English, a bit like a search engine that answers in full sentences instead of handing you a pile of blue links. They did something people call vibe coding. Vibe coding just means you describe what you want in regular words, and the AI helps build it. Think of it like telling a friend exactly how you want your Minecraft shop to work, and they snap the blocks into place while you talk. Their tiny shop dashboard watched sales and costs, the way a scoreboard watches points in a game. It tracked inventory, which is just how many cups and cards they still had left to sell. It kept customer notes, and it let them add or remove products when something sold out or a new idea showed up. Grandpa gave leftover wood, they painted the stand, and some supplies will work again next year, like the cups, the jar, and the decorations. Why should this matter to you? Because this is what AI looks like when it leaves the homework tab and shows up at a real stall with real customers. It is not replacing the kids' ideas. It is the clipboard, the calculator, and the notebook that asks whether they actually made a profit. Their brains stay on the fun parts, like the plan, the signs, and the talking to customers. If you have ever wanted a bake sale, a sticker shop, a tutoring side hustle, or a club fundraiser, that is the same shape of problem. You can try the same kind of helper right now for free with no coding. Open a browser, go to the Perplexity website, and you may need a parent's help to sign up. Type this: I want to run a one-day bake sale at school. Give me a supply list, prices that could make a profit, and a simple table I can use to track what I sell, what it cost, and what is left. Then ask it to make the table even simpler, as if a 10-year-old has to fill it in. You will see the same kind of helper those kids used, and you do not need a fancy setup. There is a quieter habit hiding inside every creative chat you have with an AI, and it has a simple name: variance. Variance is just how mixed and surprising the results are. Give a whole class the same story prompt, and you get vampires, space hamsters, and a sandwich that solves crimes. That wild spread of totally different answers is high variance, and it is what makes brainstorming feel alive. Now ask an AI the same prompt 5 times. A lot of the time you get 5 stories that feel like cousins. Same mood, same plot beats, same dark past and heart of gold energy. Walk with me through a gym dartboard, because that is the simplest picture of what is going on. First, you throw a prompt at the model the way you throw a dart. Second, the model has practiced on so many answers that people called good, so it aims for the middle of the target, the answer that usually scores well. Third, 5 throws land in a tight little cluster, which is why the stories feel related instead of surprising. Fourth, the weird arrow that would land in the next county never leaves your hand, unless you specifically ask for it. The software is not copying one story off a cheat sheet. It is steering toward the answer that usually looks successful, the way a cautious student writes the essay they think the teacher wants. Ethan Mollick, who writes about how people actually use these tools, argued that AI labs need to care more about that spread on creative work. If it takes a lot of extra poking to get real variety out of a smart model, then the model is less useful for brainstorming, problem solving, and art. Those are the jobs where the 5th idea is supposed to surprise you. So when your chatbot keeps handing you 3 different slogans that all sound like the same slogan in a new hoodie, that is low variance, not you being picky. You can push it on purpose. Ask it this. Give me 5 options that would disagree with each other. Make one of them slightly unhinged. You are not breaking it. You are asking it to step off the bullseye. That is why a brainstorming session can feel stuck, and that is also why a slightly unhinged request can shake it loose. You now know the habit, and you can work with it. Meanwhile, the unofficial family tech support job just got a serious rival, and it lives on a phone. Ethan Malick's father got a new MacBook after years with no laptop, and he did not know how to set it up. He opened Chatgpt on his phone. Chatgpt is the chatbot a lot of you have already typed into for homework or jokes. He asked how to install Codex, which is an AI helper that can actually do tasks on the computer, not just talk about them. Then he told Codex to take over, fix setup problems, and install what he needed. Malick had been the family's unofficial tech support for decades, and he basically watched that job disappear. If a parent or grandparent in your life still texts you that the Wi-Fi looks angry, this is the future of that text thread. You do not need Codex for a first taste. On your phone, open Chatgpt and try this exact ask. Type, "I have never done this before. Walk me through changing my laptop's screen brightness and setting up a simple folder for school files, one tap at a time," and wait for me to say done before the next step. Watch how it waits for you, like a patient older sibling who will not skip ahead. And if setup help is one flavor, homework help is another. One student who had only used the 3 websites for Chatgpt and Claude started treating an AI helper as a teacher, not a vending machine for answers. Claude is another chatbot, similar idea, different company. The helper planned a whole project, chopped it into 40 exercises, checked the work, and explained sloppy habits versus solid ones. It did not just hand over something to copy. They said it felt like learning a new idea in a single day with a patient coach who never gets tired. You can steal the method for any subject, and you do not need to write a single line of code. Go to the Chatgpt website and type, "Turn the causes of World War I into 8 practice questions that get harder each time." Add, "Do not give answers until I try. Then tell me what I missed and why." Swap in Spanish verbs, cell biology, or whatever is on tomorrow's quiz, and notice how it coaches instead of just dumping an answer key. Hollywood just put a fence around something, and a courtroom just learned a hard lesson about chat boxes. ByteDance, the company behind TikTok, signed a written agreement with the Motion Picture Association, the big Hollywood group that looks after movies and shows. ByteDance agreed to pull back how its AI models use Hollywood movies, characters, and stories. If you care about the films you love and about AI that can clone a famous universe in 2 clicks, this is the entertainment world drawing a line and saying, "Please do not eat our homework." And someone on a jury typed details from a real trial into Chatgpt, and the whole trial collapsed. Treat that as a flashing neon sign. A chat box is not a private notebook, and it is not a secret diary. If something is secret, someone else's business, or would get you in trouble on a poster in the hallway, do not paste it into an AI. And that's a wrap. If any of today's stories made you go, that's cool, go play with it. Curiosity is how every expert started. See you tomorrow. And if you'd rather watch than listen, find us on YouTube at Nera Network. Links in the show notes. And before you go, this show is part of the Nera Network, a family of daily podcasts on tech, science, and markets. Each one a short, sharp briefing you can finish on the commute. If today earned its place in your feed, here's your next listen. Environmental Intelligence, the Environment and Climate Policy Brief for Canada. Find every show free at neranetwork.com. Following the long arcs, story trackers on neranetwork.com follow major programs across episodes. Tesla, SpaceX, AI, space science, and more. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.